The Belgian Revolution of 1830, the birth of a nation. The streets of Brussels erupted in defiance. The summer of 1830 brought with it not just oppressive heat, but a fire of rebellion that would reshape the map of Europe. For Belgians, the events of that fateful year are more than historical milestones. They represent the moment a people found their voice and declared their right to self-determination. But what exactly ignited this revolution? What unfolded during those dramatic weeks? And what forces drove the southern provinces to break away from the Kingdom of the Netherlands? The United Kingdom of the Netherlands. The Congress of Vienna in 1815 redrew Europe's borders after the Napoleonic Wars, and among its most ambitious creations was the United Kingdom of the Netherlands. The great powers, Britain, Austria, Prussia, and Russia, sought to establish a strong buffer state north of France to prevent future French expansion. Their solution was to unite the former Austrian Netherlands, the southern provinces that would become Belgium, with the Dutch Republic under King William I of Orange-Nassau. On paper, this union seemed logical. Both regions had historical ties and shared economic interests. The merger created a kingdom of approximately 6 million people, stretching from the North Sea to the borders of France and Prussia. King William I, crowned in Brussels in 1815, approached his role with the zeal of an enlightened monarch determined to modernize his realm. Yet beneath this imposed unity, fundamental differences festered. The southern provinces were predominantly Catholic, French-speaking in the urban centers and Flemish-speaking in the countryside. The north was Protestant and Dutch-speaking. The South had a rich tradition of local autonomy dating back centuries, while the North embraced a more centralized administrative approach. These were not mere cultural quirks, but deep-rooted identities that would prove impossible to reconcile. During these 15 years, William I embarked on ambitious projects. He invested heavily in infrastructure, building canals and improving roads. He founded universities, including the University of Ghent and the University of Liège, though his insistence on Dutch as the language of instruction provoked resentment. He promoted industrial development, particularly in the coal mining regions of Wallonia and the textile centers of Ghent. Despite these material advances, political and cultural tensions mounted steadily. The king's policies increasingly alienated the southern population, creating grievances that would eventually explode into open revolt.
Seeds of discontent. The sources of Belgian frustration were manifold and deeply felt. Perhaps most inflammatory was William's religious policy. As a Protestant ruling over a Catholic majority in the South, the king's attempts to control ecclesiastical affairs struck at the heart of Southern identity. He claimed the right to approve episcopal appointments and insisted that priests be trained in state-controlled seminaries where they would be taught in Dutch and exposed to what Catholics viewed as Protestant influences. The Catholic Church had been a pillar of Southern society for centuries. Bishops and priests wielded enormous moral authority, and any perceived attack on the Church was seen as an attack on the people themselves. When William attempted to regulate religious education and limit the Church's role in schooling, outrage swept through the southern provinces. The clergy became among the most vocal critics of Dutch rule, using their pulpits to denounce the king's policies as threats to the faith. Language policy added fuel to the fire. William decreed that Dutch should be the official language of administration and education throughout the kingdom. In the Flemish-speaking regions of the South, this was merely inconvenient, but in the French-speaking cities and Wallonia, it was perceived as cultural oppression. The urban elite, professionals, and intellectuals who conducted their affairs in French found themselves marginalized in their own land. Court proceedings, government documents, and university instruction in Dutch created barriers for French speakers and generated deep resentment. Economic grievances compounded these cultural wounds. Although the South was more industrialized and economically dynamic than the North, political power resided firmly in the hands of the Northern Dutch. The capital was in The Hague, far from the southern provinces. In the States General, the national parliament, seats were divided equally between North and South, despite the South having a larger population. This arrangement guaranteed northern dominance, since the king could rely on northern representatives to support his policies. Taxation proved another sore point. The southern provinces, more prosperous in many sectors, contributed disproportionately to the kingdom's revenues. Yet Southerners felt they received inadequate representation and influence in return. When William implemented policies favoring Dutch shipping and commerce at the expense of Southern industries, accusations of economic exploitation gained traction. Press censorship and restrictions on political freedom further inflamed passions. William I governed as an autocrat who tolerated little opposition. Newspapers critical of the government faced suppression. Political gatherings were monitored and often disbanded. This authoritarianism clashed with the southern provinces' memories of greater autonomy under Austrian rule and even during the French period, when, despite occupation, the ideals of the French Revolution had taken root. By the late 1820s, an unlikely alliance had formed between two groups that normally opposed each other: the Catholic Church and liberal intellectuals. Catholics sought religious freedom and protection of church rights. Liberals demanded constitutional reforms, freedom of the press, and genuine parliamentary government. Though their ultimate visions for society differed dramatically, both groups shared a common enemy in William I's authoritarian regime. This union of oppositions would prove crucial in the events to come.
The spark of revolution. In July 1830, France erupted in revolution. King Charles X, whose reactionary policies had alienated the French people, was overthrown in 3 days of street fighting in Paris. The July Revolution sent shockwaves across Europe, demonstrating that popular uprisings could topple established monarchies. News of the French events electrified the southern Netherlands, where similar grievances had been simmering for years. Brussels in August 1830 was a powder keg awaiting a spark. The city's theaters, newspapers, and cafes buzzed with revolutionary fervor. Young intellectuals and workers discussed the French events with mounting excitement. The atmosphere was charged with possibility, a sense that change was not only necessary but achievable. The spark came on the evening of August 25, 1830, at the Théâtre Royal de la Monnaie in Brussels. The opera performed that night was La Muette de Portici by Daniel Aubert, a work that told the story of a 1647 Neapolitan revolt against Spanish rule. The opera's patriotic themes resonated powerfully with the audience. When the tenor sang the aria Amour sacré de la patrie, sacred love of the fatherland, with its rousing call to resistance against oppression, the crowd erupted in frenzied applause. As the performance concluded, audience members poured into the streets, their emotions inflamed. What began as an impromptu demonstration quickly escalated into something far more serious. The crowd swelled as workers, students, and discontented citizens joined the throng. They marched through Brussels streets, singing patriotic songs and shouting slogans against the Dutch government. The targets of the crowd's anger were carefully chosen. Demonstrators attacked the offices of the government newspaper, smashing printing presses and scattering type into the streets. They moved on to the homes of unpopular ministers and Dutch officials, breaking windows and destroying property. The symbols of Dutch authority became focus points for years of accumulated rage. Initially, the violence seemed spontaneous and disorganized. But as the night wore on and the following days unfolded, the uprising began to take shape. Barricades appeared in the streets of Brussels, constructed from overturned carriages, paving stones, and furniture. Workers armed themselves with whatever weapons they could find: hunting rifles, tools, pikes fashioned from scrap metal.
King William I initially underestimated the severity of the situation. He believed the unrest was a temporary outburst that could be contained through limited concessions and, if necessary, military force. He dispatched his son, Crown Prince William, to Brussels to restore order. But the prince's arrival only intensified the conflict.
September Days, the fight for Brussels. The crucial battles occurred during the September Days from September 23rd to 27th, 1830. Crown Prince William arrived in Brussels with approximately 14,000 Dutch troops, confident that a show of force would crush the rebellion. He established positions in the upper town and prepared to sweep through the insurgent-held lower quarters. The revolutionaries, numbering around 30,000 but lacking military training and proper equipment, prepared to defend their positions. Leadership emerged from unexpected quarters. Young men like Charles Rogier, a lawyer from Liège, and Edouard Duc-Petiot, a journalist, helped organize the resistance. Volunteers from across the southern provinces streamed into Brussels to join the fight, driven by a shared sense that this was a decisive moment. The battle for Brussels became a brutal street-by-street struggle. Dutch artillery pounded the barricades, but the insurgents fought back with surprising effectiveness. The narrow, winding streets of medieval Brussels favored defenders who knew every alley and courtyard. Revolutionaries fired from windows and rooftops, ambushing Dutch patrols. Women and children assisted by carrying ammunition, tending the wounded, and building defenses. One contemporary account describes the scene. The city became a battlefield where every corner concealed danger, where the cobblestones ran red with blood, and where the sound of musket fire echoed endlessly through the ancient streets. The fighting was fierce and often hand-to-hand when Dutch troops attempted to storm the barricades. Despite their superior numbers and training, the Dutch forces found themselves frustrated at every turn. The revolutionaries' determination proved stronger than anticipated. Supply lines were harassed, communication was difficult, and Dutch morale began to crumble in the face of such resistance. After 4 days of intense fighting, with casualties mounting on both sides and no clear victory in sight, Crown Prince William made the fateful decision to withdraw his forces from Brussels. The Dutch retreat on September 27th was a turning point. As government troops evacuated the city, jubilant crowds filled the streets. Church bells rang across Brussels, celebrating what felt like a miraculous deliverance. The revolutionaries had achieved something remarkable. They had defeated a professional army and secured control of the capital. The road to independence. Victory in Brussels did not automatically mean independence. The immediate question facing the revolutionaries was what came next. Some moderates hoped for administrative separation within a continued union with the North, perhaps a federal arrangement that would grant the South autonomy while preserving the kingdom. But events quickly pushed beyond such compromises. A provisional government formed in September under the leadership of notable figures, including Charles Rogier, Alexander Jean d'Ambien, and Sylvain van de Weyer. This body faced the enormous task of organizing a new state while simultaneously defending it against potential Dutch counterattacks. They understood that international recognition was crucial. Without the approval of the great powers, the Belgian Revolution could be crushed by foreign intervention just as easily as by Dutch arms. On October 4, 1830, the Provisional Government issued a Declaration of Independence. The document proclaimed, "The Belgian provinces, violently detached from Holland, will form an independent state." This bold assertion transformed what might have been a regional revolt into the birth of a nation. The task of creating a functioning government fell to the National Congress, an assembly elected in November 1830. This body drew up a constitution that would become a model of liberal governance for its time. The Belgian Constitution of 1831 established a constitutional monarchy with strictly limited royal powers, guaranteed fundamental freedoms including freedom of religion, press, and assembly, and created a bicameral parliament with real legislative authority.
The constitutional debates revealed the compromise at the heart of the new nation. Liberals ensured protections for civil liberties and parliamentary supremacy. Catholics secured constitutional recognition of religious freedom and the Church's role in education. The voting franchise, while limited by property requirements as was common throughout Europe, was broader than in many neighboring states. But Belgium still needed a king. The National Congress initially offered the throne to the Duke of Nemours, son of French King Louis-Philippe. However, the great powers, particularly Britain, objected strenuously to this choice, fearing it would extend French influence. After complex diplomatic negotiations, the crown was offered to Leopold of Saxe-Coburg-Gotha, a German prince who was the widower of the British crown princess and uncle to the future Queen Victoria. Leopold I was an astute choice. His family connections provided links to the major European dynasties. His reputation as a moderate and capable administrator reassured the great powers. He accepted the throne in June 1831, swearing an oath to uphold the Constitution, and became the first king of the Belgians.
International recognition and final conflict. The great powers gathered in London to address the Belgian question. The London Conference of 1830 to 1831 brought together representatives from Britain, France, Austria, Prussia, and Russia. These nations held the fate of Belgium in their hands. If they refused recognition, the new state would face certain destruction. If they intervened on Belgium's behalf, it might survive. Britain emerged as Belgium's crucial supporter. The British government, led by Lord Palmerston, saw an independent Belgium as serving British interests. A weak buffer state between France and Prussia was preferable to Dutch control, which had proven ineffective, or French annexation, which was unacceptable. France, despite initial ambitions, ultimately supported Belgian independence under British pressure. The London Conference recognized Belgian independence in January 1831, but with conditions. Belgium was declared perpetually neutral, forbidden from entering military alliances or allowing foreign armies passage through its territory. This neutrality status, guaranteed by the great powers, would shape Belgian foreign policy for decades and played a crucial role in the events leading to World War I. King William I of the Netherlands, however, refused to accept the loss of the southern provinces. In August 1831, he launched a military campaign to reconquer Belgium. The 10 Days campaign saw Dutch forces quickly overwhelm the inexperienced Belgian army and advance deep into Belgian territory. King Leopold I appealed desperately to France for assistance. French intervention saved Belgian independence. A French army of 60,000 men crossed the border and forced the Dutch to retreat. Though the French presence alarmed Britain and other powers, French forces withdrew after accomplishing their objective. The crisis demonstrated Belgium's vulnerability, but also confirmed that the great powers would uphold Belgian independence. Final settlement took years to achieve. William I stubbornly refused to recognize Belgium until 1839, when the Treaty of London formally concluded the matter. Under this agreement, Belgium lost some territory, including parts of Limburg and Luxembourg, but gained definitive international recognition and guaranteed neutrality. The aftermath and legacy. The birth of Belgium resolved immediate political questions, but left others unanswered. The new nation faced the challenge of forging a common identity from diverse populations. The language divide between French speakers and Dutch speakers that had contributed to the break with the Netherlands did not disappear with independence. Indeed, linguistic and cultural tensions would remain features of Belgian political life into the present day. Nevertheless, Belgium flourished in its early decades of independence. The constitution proved durable and flexible. The country industrialized rapidly, becoming one of Europe's economic powerhouses. Belgian coal, steel, and textiles competed successfully in global markets. Brussels grew into a major European capital, its grand boulevards and elegant architecture reflecting the new nation's prosperity and confidence.
The Revolution of 1830 demonstrated that nationalist movements could succeed against the Vienna settlements' imposed order. Belgium's creation inspired other European peoples seeking self-determination. The Belgian constitution influenced liberal reformers across the continent who saw it as proof that constitutional monarchy could work effectively. Yet the revolution also revealed the limits of nationalist ideology. The Belgian state, created in the name of popular sovereignty, actually resulted from great power politics as much as popular will. The guaranteed neutrality that secured Belgium's independence also constrained its freedom of action in international affairs. And the promise of unity within Belgium's borders proved elusive as linguistic and regional identities persisted. The events of 1830 established patterns that would echo through Belgian history. The role of external powers in guaranteeing Belgian security, the tension between different linguistic communities, the importance of compromise between competing political factions. All these elements present at Belgium's founding continued to shape the nation's development.
Conclusion. August 25, 1830 did indeed mark the beginning of a transformation. The applause at the Opera House that evening set in motion forces that within weeks had toppled Dutch rule and created a new nation. The Belgian Revolution succeeded not through the genius of a single leader or the superiority of Belgian arms, but through the determination of a people who refused to accept a political arrangement that violated their sense of identity and autonomy. The revolution demonstrated that the Congress of Vienna's artificial constructions could not permanently suppress national aspirations. It showed that urban populations, armed with little more than courage and makeshift weapons, could challenge professional armies when fighting for deeply held beliefs. And it proved that in the complex chess game of European power politics, small nations could secure independence if larger powers found it in their interest to permit it. The birth of Belgium reshaped the map of Europe and created a state that, despite internal divisions and external pressures, has endured for nearly 2 centuries. The revolutionaries of 1830 could not have foreseen all the challenges their new nation would face. They could not have predicted the world wars that would be fought on Belgian soil, or the linguistic controversies that would dominate Belgian politics. But they accomplished something remarkable. They created a nation where none had existed before, and gave it institutions strong enough to survive the tests that lay ahead. The story of Belgium's birth remains a testament to the power of collective action and the enduring human desire for self-governance. It reminds us that nations are not eternal or inevitable, but rather the products of specific historical moments when people choose to act, when circumstances align, and when determination meets opportunity.